Hello guys, let's look at Form 3 end of year exams, that is Computer Studies Paper 1. Section A consists of 40 marks. Answer all the questions in this section. Question 1A, state any two types of data processing methods. So this is second topic in Form 3, data processing. So we usually have manual data processing, we have electronic data processing, and mechanical. Now, when you talk about mechanical, we are talking of using mechanical devices like typewriter. When we talk about electronic data processing, this is the use of computer to work on data. Manual, this is whereby you use your brain and your hands. That is, you read the request, and then from in tray, then you put them to out tray. During a visit to the typing room, Jane, a computer student, observed a type of printer that uses a beam to create an image on a rotating drum. As the beam hits the drum, some regions attract ink toner particles. The toner is then fused onto a piece of paper. State the name of this type of printer and indicate whether it is an impact or non-impact printer. So the expected answer here is laser printer, which is non-impact printer. List two advantages of using the printer mentioned in A above. Remember, when you fail in the first section, you do not automatically get the second, that is the second point, because you do not know what you are answering. So the first advantage is that it is a high quality, it gives high quality printout. It prints using a good speed, that is, speed of printing is fast, or it is fast in printing. Remember, the speed is measured, that is, we use paper per minute. The cost per page of toner cartridges is lower than other printers. Then we have Bunam, a water company, sends out field officers to take consumer meter readings. The data collected by the officers is then keyed in to the computer. The system then generates utility bills, which are printed and sent to the customers or consumers. 1. Give 2 transcription errors that are likely to occur during meter reading or input. So here we have misreading error. This is an error that results from wrong readings, or for example, you may read something like 80, you write 08. Transposition, this is whereby you exchange the numbers. Misreading means actually wrong reading. You are not really reading the thing that is there. Outline 2 ways such errors can be avoided or minimized. Number 1 is to design user interfaces that minimize chances of invalid data entry, using error detection and correction software when transmitting data, using devices that capture data directly from the source, e.g. digital camera or scanners. State the type of processing carried out. Definitely, this is a very examinable point. It is batch processing. This is whereby you correct data either quarterly, you can use monthly, yearly, then you process them. Mention at least 2 threads in the technological revolution of computers. Mention at least 2 threads in the technological revolution of computers. 2 marks. Number 1, we have continual decrease in computer size. Computers are decreasing in size. Improved speed and power of processing. Just like the size is reducing, on the other hand, on the contrary, speed and power of processing is improving. Decrease in computer physical size and its related facility costs. Increased internal storage. Like now, you can see we have 16 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM from megabytes that we used to have, like 512 MB such. Increased secondary storage capacity and reduction of their size. You can see a very small hard disk or SSD drive, and it has so much. You can see something like 1 TB, 2 terabytes. Explain the importance of the following spreadsheet operations. 2 marks. Freezing columns, data validation. Now, freezing columns enables the user to view only required records at a time. It allows the user to view only the required records at a time. Then data validation ensures the records are varied as per the user needs. Name 2 types of relationships that can be applied in a database design. 1 mark. So we have one to many, we have one to one, we have many to many, we also have many to one relationship. Then we have briefly explain any 4 block operations that can be performed on data in word processing. 4 marks. So we have copying text, we have moving text, deleting text, formatting text, columns when applying columns, and when applying bullets and numbering. So block operations here means where you highlight to perform an action. So a block operation, or you can rather say this is an operation that is performed on a number or of sentences or paragraphs. So you can copy text. This is creating a duplicate. Moving or cut. Somebody may say cut text or cutting text, that is to transfer. Motiso wanted to upgrade the random access memory of his computer. State 2 factors Motiso should consider when purchasing a random access memory module. Number 1 is the memory capacity. Number 2 is compatibility. This is whether they can work together. Availability of an empty slot, because you may not buy a memory and you don't have where to put it. Type of module supported by the motherboard. Remember, we have DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, such. We have different modules. Define the following terms. Computer port. It is a special kind of connector or socket on the computer unit which a cable from an external peripheral device is plugged to facilitate transfer of data and information. Basically, it is a socket. Power supply unit. It is a special unit inside the system unit that supplies power to the motherboard and other internal devices. Simple and clear. Mkulima Bora is a society that embraced e-commerce recently. The manager is convinced that there is illegal access. State 2 ways in which the company's system can overcome this problem. Now, the problem here is illegal access of their data. So, the first one is encryption. Data encryption means mixing data in a way that only the sender and the recipient can be in a position to read. You can use firewall. A firewall is a software or a hardware that prevents suspicious requests or suspicious data from accessing your systems. User profile, stroke password, stroke user accounts. You can set user accounts so that you can know who logged in when. Also, you can limit the number of login attempts. You see, there are some ways of accessing the system like guesswork. So when you reduce the number of login attempts, then you are really reducing the capability of hackers or crackers to access your system. You can also use audit trail. Audit trail is actually trying to see whether data can be hacked before actually really transmitting. So you can just check on the weaknesses of data that can be traced by hackers. Number 10, differentiate between a function and a formula as used in spreadsheets. You have your 4 marks. So a function A function is a user-defined formula, whereas a formula is a mathematical expression that solves a problem. So a function is an example of a formula. In DTP, or in desktop publishing, in a desktop publishing document, an image embedded can be transformed in various ways. Name any two ways one can use to make the image fit in a designated area, 2 marks. So number one is rotating. You can rotate the image, you can flip the image, you can crop the image, stretch or enlarging, you can squeeze, that is, or shrinking, and also resizing. So those are the ways you can use. Differentiate between source program and object program. Some other guys may say source code and object code. This is in elementary programming principles. So source code are instructions that a programmer creates when writing a program, whereas an object program is a translated source code. Rather, you can just say that a source code is the codes written on the code editor window by the programmer, which are not yet machine readable, whereas object code is the translated source code that is in machine readable format. Differentiate between the following terms as used in internet: drafts, outbox, CC, BCC. So a draft are emails worked on and are not yet ready to be sent. That's why we are calling it a draft. Outbox, it is a folder that contains emails waiting to be sent. For example, when you send and then there is no internet, they will be kept in the outbox. When the internet comes back or resumes, then it can be sent, and then it will appear in the sent items. CC stands for carbon copy. This is the recipient of the email that are able to see who else received the same email. That is carbon copy. Whereas BCC, this is a guy who is not able to tell whether his or her email has been sent to somebody else. That's why we call him blind carbon copy. We are talking of kipofu, blind. State two characteristics of a computer that is infected by computer viruses. So number one is loss of data, change of file size, the machine becomes slower in operation, unusual and frequent error messages, system crash, a computer taking so long to boot or to start. To process an instruction, the CPU goes through a cycle of 3 stages. Name each of the stages. So the stages are fetch. This is where the computer gets data. Decode. This is where it tries to evaluate the instructions and then work on them. Execute. So we have fetch, decode, execute cycle. Section B. Answer question 16 and any other 3 questions from this section. Guys, it is wrong for you to answer all the questions. It is also wrong for you to skip question 16 because I'll deduct you the 15 marks. The question is compulsory. State the 2 basic types of program control structures. Basic. So we have sequence, we have selection, and iteration. Iteration is also called repetition or looping. Selection, this is whereby the system evaluates which condition is true and which condition is false. Sequence, this is whereby the program executes from begin to end, or start and ends with the stop. These 3 examples of web scripting language, there are so many. So we have the ones I have mentioned there. We have HTML, we have VB script, PHP, XML, Python, and others. There are so many. You can pause the video and take some notes. Mumia Sugar Company pays cashier employees based on the number of hours worked as follows. Less than 10 hours per hour, it is Kenya shillings 100. we have Kenya shillings 100. Then up to 15 hours, it is Kenya shillings 150, and more than 15 hours, 200 per hour. Write a pseudocode to input the name, rate hours worked. The pseudocode should output the name, hours worked, and the wage paid. So guys, this is what we have. We have start. Remember, it must start with start and end with stop. So we have start, enter the name, we have hours worked. If hours worked is less than 10 hours, rate is hours times 100. Rather, it is hours times 150. Rather, it is hours times 200. Then from there, to calculate the wage, it is hours times rate. Then display the hours, payment rate, and name. Then the program stops. The flowchart is as follows, guys. We have start, enter, name, hours worked. Then we have is hours less than 10. If yes, the rate is hours times 100. If no, then hours is greater than 10 but less than 15. That is hours times 150. Greater than 15, it is hours times 200. Then output, hours worked, payment rate, and the name, then stops. So this is the flowchart, a simple flowchart for that matter. Question 17. Give any 3 circumstances that may make an organization to develop a new information system. So these are the expected answers. You can talk about new opportunities, chance to improve quality of internal processes, problems, that is undesirable circumstances that prevent the organization from meeting its goals, directives, it can be demand from internal or external influence, management, government, etc. Then there are other answers there, but the main answers are the first 3. Study the spreadsheet below and answer the question that follows. So we have Westring Computer Book Center. We have the books. You can see the books and the prices, numbers sold, and then we want to compute the cost. So write down the formula that can be used to find the cheapest book. So here you can use equals to mean or small, and then you put the range. The range is from C3 to C9. Write down the formula that can be used to determine the total sales for the book titled Computer Applications. So for the book here, this is C7, should be C7. Determine the total sales of computer applications. The total sales for computer applications here. This is should be 7. This should be B7. B7. This should be 7. Okay, you can just work on that. Write down the formula that can be used to determine the average. So you can add all of them. You can add all of them. You can add all of them, then divided by 7, or you can use average. And just come here and type average, then the range. The range is B3 up to B9. And that one can also be the answer. You can use the average. This one, you can use average. Then state any 3 advantages of using an electronic spreadsheet as compared to traditional worksheet. 3 marks. So the expected answers are: it utilizes powerful aspects of computer like speed, accuracy, and efficiency to enable the user quickly accomplish his or her tasks. Have inbuilt formula code functions that enable the user to quickly manipulate mathematical data. Have better document formatting capabilities. Automatically adjusts the result of a formula if the values in a worksheet are changed. That one is called automatic formula recalculation ability. Enable the user to produce neat work because traditional papers, pencil, rubber, and calculator are put aside. Utilizes the large storage space on a computer, storage devices to save or retrieve documents. State 3 State 3 ways in which computer viruses are spread from one computer to the other. Number 1 is use of infected email attachments, infected software downloads, removable media like flash disks or external hard disks, visiting malicious websites, and drive-by downloads, social engineering and phishing attacks, network vulnerabilities, and exploits. So guys, you can pause the video and take short notes. You can also access these documents by WhatsApp. The number is just below the video. Number 18, differentiate cache and buffer memories. Cache memory is designed to store frequently used data to speed up CPU access, while buffer memory temporarily holds data during transfer or processing. Cache is typically small and transparent to the CPU, while buffer vary in size and are often explicitly managed. Distinguish between a primary key and a foreign key as used in DBMS, that is Database Management System or software. A primary key is a unique key that can uniquely identify each row/record in a file, table, where a foreign key is a field in a record that points to a key field in another table. Like for example, in doctor's table, doctor ID is the primary key. In patient's table, doctor ID is the foreign key. It is pointing to the doctor's table from, that's the doctor ID in the patient's table is pointing to doctor ID, which is a primary key in doctor's table. What do the term header and footer mean? Header are lines of text that appear at the top. So the keyword here is the top margin. Whereas footer are lines of text that appear at the bottom margin. So the key here is top margin. This is the whatever the examiner will check. And also this is the key. Those are the big elephant in the house. Convert 522 octal to binary or decimal. So you put the place values from your right hand side. You start from raised to power 0, raised to power 1, raised to power 2. Then we have the octal digits, that is our 522. So you just now take the 8 squared, which is 64, times 5, plus 8, that is 8 times 2, which is 16, plus any number is power 0 is 1. So 1 times 2. So the answer is 338. Using wrong division method, convert 67 to binary. So you continuously divide by 2. If it is divisible by 2, you write 0. If it is not divisible, you write 1. Then you read from bottom to top. This is the most significant bit. This is the least significant bit. And then you get the answer as shown. Outline 3 disk management activities or tasks. So we have disk formatting. This is erasing whatever is in the disk or creating tracks and sectors. Some guys will say preparing a newly bought disk to hold data. Then we have disk defragmentation. This is bringing together scattered files to save on space or to make it easy for access or for search. Disk scanning, this is checking for errors. Then we have disk compression, just like disk defragmentation. We have disk backup, this is taking a copy. Then we have disk partitioning, this is dividing a disk so that you can install more than one operating system. Question 19, differentiate between analog and digital data, not signal. Analog data is continuous in nature, where digital data is non-continuous or discrete. Just use the simple English, continuous and non-continuous. Avoid using jargons. Outline 3 advantages of using computers for data processing over other types of office and business environment. So the first one is it is fast in operation, it is accurate, enhanced accuracy, it is efficient, it has high storage, it produces network, and any other correct answer. Here you can write hundreds of answers that are correct. It is an open-ended question. State 4 devices under direct control of the operating system. So we have the main memory, we have input-output devices, I/O, we have secondary storage, and the processor or the CPU. Briefly describe the following types of computation errors. So guys, we have truncation, round-off errors, and overflow. So truncation refers to shortening or cutting off part of a number or a word which cannot fit in the allocated memory space. E.g., we have 0 point wherever there. You see now I have chopped some of the parts, that is to truncate, truncation. Rounding off, on the other hand, they result from raising or lowering a digit in a real number to the required decimal places. To round off 30.666 to one decimal place, the first digit after the decimal is raised by 1. If its successor is equal to or more than 5 to become 30.7. Overflow errors. These types of error occurs when the result of a computation is larger than the allocated memory space. For example, the result of an 8-bit resulting to 9 bits. So the ninth bit is the overflow. So explain 3 most commonly used coding schemes. We usually use 3. We have the ASCII, ASCII, that is the American standard. Then we have the binary coded decimal. This is 4 digits, the 4 bits. ASCII is 7 bits. So the examiner will be interested on this part. That is the main here. The examiner here will be interested with this part also. That is the 4-bit. The 4-bit. Then you can talk about the EBCD. This is the extended binary system. The examiner will be interested on the 8 bits here. This one here. So those are the points that the examiner will be interested in. So we have the ASCII, we have BCD, and we have the extended. Number 20, the last question. State 1 advantage and 2 disadvantages of command line interface. So advantages. First, in processing commands, they do not take up a lot of space, memory, hence boot faster. They have direct access in most of hardware. They are cheaper to acquire, as some can be downloaded free of charge. They can run on lower bit hardware systems such as 32 bits. They are more stable. They are more secure. Disadvantage. It's difficult for users to memorize commands. One command cannot support more than one task. That is a very big disadvantage. The commands are not flexible. State 3 communication services offered through the internet. We have chatting, we have video conferencing, we have email, and browse/surf. Other than computer viruses, errors, and accidental tampering, discuss any 3 threats to computerized system and explain the preventive measures that can be taken to avoid such. 6 marks. So here you can talk about hacking. Remember their exception up there. Hacking, this is unauthorized access to computer system. We have theft, stealing of hardware, computers can be stolen. System crashes, breakup of system and loses data, use of data backup, that is the way of solving that. Explain what is meant by data backup and name 2 dangers of inadequate data backup procedures. So number 1, we have duplicate of data in case the other one is left there is a copy of the same. Duplicate, that is the key. Loss of data. loss of hardware, reprocessing efforts due to loss of data. So, guys, remember you can get these questions in Microsoft Word format or PDF by WhatsApp. So, my WhatsApp number is 0799027371. So, this is the number you can use to access to reach me, so that you can be in a position to get the questions and many more that I have done in YouTube, and the ones probably I will do later. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe, remember to like and share my videos.